Welcome everyone to the first ever episode of the Pantheon Panel. We are going to get started here very quickly. We've got a couple community members with me today as my guest hosts. They are, starting off in the top right hand corner, is Prayer. Prayer, you are part of, what is it, Team Enigmatic? Is that what you're starting?
Yeah, it's a team I'm starting. Looking to hopefully excel in the SMITE and game, and hopefully we'll see where it takes us. I have a site, yeah. I'm working on it. As most of the community probably knows, I have been working on it for quite some time, but yeah, Team Enigmatic.
All right, let's moving on to Alakite. You were an alpha tester, is that right?
Yeah, an alpha tester. Wasn't that long, but just for a decent amount of time.
Okay, and let's get to our last person, Sockless, part of Team Tilt, is it?
Yep.
All right, so we got ourselves. He's just yep. All right, so everyone here is new. We got all four of us here. We're all new to the show, fresh to the show. It's the first one, obviously. So we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm echoing through somebody's a little bit. But we got a lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and get started. I am Justin Kennedy of Justin Gaming. My little site, my little work I do, so we're going to put together this little podcast, and we're going to see how it goes. So here's what's going to happen. For everybody watching, for everybody know, we're going to go around, we're going to talk about different things that's been going on in the beta, and we're going to try to break it down for you. Discuss what we've noticed personally or what we've discussed with others that might be issues that we are experiencing. So we're going to try to, I wouldn't say solve them, but more just shed light on them, maybe. Shed light on our personal experiences, our thoughts, and what possibly the community is thinking so that Hi-Rez may be able to see it and anybody else can question it and maybe find out things and test it themselves. So let's go ahead and I'm going to rotate between each of you. We can start here. We're going to rotate between each of you, and we're going to discuss your general experiences and excitement from the beta so far. What have you had fun with? How much fun have you been having? The amount of time that you've played, and your favorite god so far. So we're going to start with you, Prayer.
Pretty much. Well, I'll start with my favorite god because, yeah. I don't know. Recently, I'm not an AP player, but I've recently started to kind of get into the whole AP mid, I guess. I'm kind of like Hebo's getting fun, but I plan to play AD range, and Artemis is great, but she's the only one. So as for my experience in the game so far, it's been fun. I've had a lot of fun with it. Put a lot of hours into it. I can't even tell you how many hours I put into it. I mean, I wake up, I play, I go to bed, wake up and play, stream. I mean, that's pretty much what I've been doing every day, trying to just improve my game and my style and figure out what I want to play in SMITE.
All right. Hey, Sockless, what about you?
I'll start off with my favorite champ. Been playing a lot with Step. She's way too much fun. Really mobile, can escape pretty much any situation, plus finish off a lot of people really easily. I've had a pretty good experience all the way around. Pretty much exclusively duo queue with Varion. Mostly lane together too, so I haven't really had to interact with any solo queue experiences, so it's been a pretty good experience so far, just duo queuing.
Let's just admit, you like that cat lady, don't you? That's all it is. It's that
taunt,
furry curves.
Right to you.
And Alakite, what about you?
Favorite champ, I'd say between Arachne and Raw. Arachne because right now she's the only one that I believe can level 1 jungle, or well, really efficiently can level 1 jungle on, and that pull is just so fun to land. And Raw because he's one of the more mobile mages. I like kiting with him, running away while being a support healer. I think he's just an all-around great mage. For experience, I haven't really been playing too much of the beta because I was taking a trip to Boston for the last week or so. But before that, I'd been playing pretty much any time the beta was open, and I guess that's all I have to say.
All right, and then I myself, I've had level of excitement. I'd say it's pretty much up here, going up of just interest, fun. I have not played a game in a while that I've been able to play this long and not get bored of it. I don't care that it's one map. I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun with that. So there goes the level of excitement, the level of fun, the amount of time I've played. You know, a lot of you have played quite a bit of hours. I actually chose a high-end hours for this show. But 30, 40 hours here we're looking at for a lot of us, if not more than that now. And my favorite champion, gosh, we're going to have to get used to champions, heroes, and gods now. Favorite god is probably Sobek. I mean, I get to run into people, flip them backwards, tail whip them, and then all at the end steal their life while they're running away. I mean, come on. So, let's move on though. So, let's go into our first discussion segment about the game, potential bugs. I'm just going to look at the user interface first. So, the user interface has had a bunch of controversy here and there with different people, different things, and some people like things, some people don't like things. So, let's start off with anybody here. About the likes and dislikes of the UI in the lobby and in the game, both of them. Are there any likes or dislikes from the lobby and in game? Any UI problems?
Well, I think the major one right now, as a lot of the community has pointed out, is the not being able to see what you're exactly gaining when you level up a skill in game. Right now, you can't really tell. You're just leveling it up. Like I almost called him Anubis is 2 as of right now. When you level it up, it's just cooldown, but you wouldn't actually know what you're gaining if you were just leveling up normally. I think that's one of the biggest complaints from the community right now. Other things are, well, I think mostly everything else is okay, but that's one of the big issues.
Okay. What about you, Sockless or Prayer?
Just good.
All right. Well, the biggest complaint I have right now with the UI is probably the character. You know, like the whole character sheet. Like I don't like how it just has lines that go out as you, you gain more stats in a way. I don't like that, and the store can be pretty much redone completely. Like I don't know how it's gonna look when it's officially done, but so far it's pretty bad, in my opinion.
Sockless.
I'm a web designer by day, so bad design just really irks me to begin with. The first thing I'll just change aesthetically is the load screen. It kills me every time I see it.
Yeah.
I know they can do better. But as far as in-game goes, the only real thing I would change is I would like to be able to see my items without hitting the store button. Like I would like to have them appear somewhere on the open UI.
Good.
Well, another thing I like to add on the UI, I'd like to be able to change the slots for the activatable abilities, because right now you're stuck in whatever order you buy them. When I like to have my purifying beads on Q, they sometimes get stuck on F or G. So that's one thing I'd like changed.
Yeah, I'd say the most annoying thing that I've found is probably the when you're looking at the skills page, it doesn't tell you what gets changed when you upgrade the skill. Like I'm sitting here going, for a while there, for the first couple of days, I was like, okay, I guess one thing gets upgraded on this skill, so I wouldn't upgrade things. I didn't realize it also increased attack speed or something like that because it didn't have it in a different color. So I thought maybe it only changed the thing that was in the damage thing that said magic damage next to it. I thought only that changed. It ends up being that a lot of these skills actually change more than one thing, but we have no idea based on what's being presented to us. And I'd say a lot of the community probably has problems with not being able to scroll with their mouse through stuff, having to click the little arrow. Do you all find having problems with the arrows? Do you like the
I
arrows?
haven't really noticed that. Not at all. I pretty much know where I need to
I
go.
haven't
And
really noticed much either.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't really notice it.
All right. Okay. Maybe we don't notice it as much because we know exactly what we want to click on now. So who knows? All right. Let's go ahead and move on. The UI has plenty of time to be fixed for us, so I think we can wait on that and see what's going to happen with it. We've talked about the shop UI already, but let's actually look at what's about the items inside the shop. Unbalanced items, possibly. The tier system versus combining system that we have here inside of SMITE. And then even so much down to 3 abilities and 1 consumable. because we've heard complaints about all these different things, or dislikes or likes about these different systems. So let's start off with unbalance. Are there any unbalanced items in the game right now?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, quite a few. Right now, or some of the obvious ones, Jotun's Wrath and the Staff of Mana right now are pretty weak in my opinion. I think they give you 30 physical, one of them gives you 30 physical power, 300 mana, and a tiny bit of mana per 5 for 2.7k gold, which isn't very effective. Most champions can't even use both those stats to the biggest effect, at least late game not. So right now it's pretty expensive for the price. Some of the void items in terms of stronger, some of the void items are pretty strong for their price points right now. The physical reduction will giving you an additional 30 or whatever it is right now for the void sword, I think it is, or whatever it is pretty strong as of right now. The void stone and void staff are pretty strong. So yeah.
I have a real problem with Quins. I'm seeing Zeus and Hades and a lot of the auto attack champs that have to build up with their passive, even buying it for a chance just to shear off 10% of your health. I think they need to do something with maybe it's only a random proc or 50% chance to proc, or it's 30, but lower than that down or something, because I'm seeing a lot of mages pick that up just for the random chance of shearing off 10% of your health.
What about, have you all... There's no items right now that give us any magic defense and movement speed, but we have movement speed with physical defense items, is that right? Or maybe it's physical attack items that give us movement speed?
Physical attack. There's
Yeah,
hard
physical
secret for
attack.
that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't think there's any magic items at all, though, that give us any movement speed.
Nope.
It's all
Yeah,
it's
there
all
isn't any.
physical stuff. So that's kind of annoying in and of itself, I think. We obviously have a lot more time. Do you think they're going to add more items, or do you think they're just going to try to balance the current items?
I've been data mining a whole lot, and I found a lot of icons for non-existent items, so I will be highly surprised if they don't add some more items in, because they already have the art assets for them.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think they could use a lot more items as well. They, I mean, we got quite a bit, but there's still not enough really to choose from. I mean, we can almost use probably double what we have, to be honest.
Yeah, so we can look at probably future items and get here. I'm sure they're going to be changing. And I'm sure, I don't know if you all agree with me, but I think it is a good idea that all the passives and stuff, or the additional stats that each item gives you, is at least at tier 3 and not at tier 1 and tier 2. Do you all agree with that?
That's my favorite thing about the item system, is that the passives, you don't get them until you finish the item.
Okay. So talking about these tiers, and I know you all have experienced the other games where we've gone with combinations, and we've worked with combinations where you get the little items, combine it together, and we have a tier system. Now I see it's kind of this kind of similar thing. It's just kind of eliminating the have to find what items to combine. But do you like? Do you dislike? Do you see future problems with it?
It has its advantages and disadvantages. One of the big disadvantages is, of course, you can't buy a lot of the lower tier items. Well, there's tier systems. You more have to go. You buy single items at a time and then upgrade them to tier 3, and then you move on to the next item. Whereas in, say, League of Legends, you can just buy, say, a BF sword, move on to a Zeal, etc. If you know the items I'm talking about. But you can just buy some of the lower tier items and combine them. In SMITE, unless you go to tier 3, a lot of the items aren't as effective as they could be.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it makes it hard to change your build in the middle of a situation. You know, if you're in the middle of building, you know, let's say a stacking item, and then all of a sudden, well, you're getting outplayed and you're dying a lot. Well, first of all, you got to sell it back, because you pretty much missed out on an item when you sit there and your team is getting destroyed, but you need to switch to an item to, maybe for magic defense or physical defense or whatnot, and pretty much what I've seen is, if you get stuck building an item, you're stuck building it. If you don't finish it, you're not going to get the passive or the ability from it, and that kind of hurts.
Okay. Sockless, you have any idea about the items yourself?
pretty much echoing what Prairie said. The only real problem I see, kind of just like in League of Legends, you can get that BF sword, and then you have a bunch of options to build that into. You then need attack speed. You can go the attack speed route. You need more crit. You can go the crit route. With this, once you buy that first item, you're pretty much locked into building it to tier 3. Because if you sell it off, you're just going to go for a loss and just waste money.
Yeah, I do like that idea that we, in say in League of Legends or whatever we had, where you could buy that BF sword because you knew you wanted it, and then you could take it as situational analysis, going, what do I want to build it into now? Do I want the all full damage? Do I want more attack speed? Do I want this or that? We kind of lose that with this system, definitely, and we definitely don't get the larger effects until you get to tier 3 as is, so you're getting lower effects every tier. So it's a trade-off system, I would say. I'm not sure how well it's going to go. I guess we'll see when we start adding more items. Maybe they change around, remove some effects from different things. So that's
It makes it harder to adapt to the situation, for sure, right now.
yes, definitely. What about the 3 abilities in 1 consumable? There's been a lot of arguments in the forums on this should be changed to where you should be able to have 2 consumables, or it shouldn't even exist there. It should just be combined with the items, or 2 abilities, 2 consumables, or however. There's so many different arguments going on what it should be. The argument, though, is regarding wards. Right now, everyone buys potions mostly. And no one buys wards, no one places the wards, and we're losing a strategic aspect of the game is what people feel like. Do you think 3 abilities are too much? Maybe split it up and add another item slot? Or do you think it's perfectly fine as it is?
Well, I don't think they should take away an ability slot, honestly. But I also don't think they shouldn't add another consumable slot, I don't think. Right now, or I think in Dota it works that you have a consumable slot. I don't think you should add another consumable slot because you should have to pick between if you want that ward or you want that extra health potion during a fight to maybe live with that 200 HP after the fight. I think you should have to make that decision. It's not that big of a deal. You can always go back, of course, but it really should be a decision between if you want that ward or you want that HP pot to save you during that fight.
Okay. Have any of you used wards?
Yes.
So you have been using them. Do you go for wards and just set up potions not needing them, or?
I normally won't get to them until late game when I'm worried about them going to 5 giant, and then I'll ward that out. And that's really the only time I've seen anyone really ward anything, is if they're worried about the other team getting that buff. But mostly, especially if you have Artemis or Arachne on your team, they can handle that job quite nicely, and you don't even have to worry about it.
So you look at somebody who were roamer or jungler, whatever you want to call it, who's already taking the health buff as is. Might as well pick up the ward and throw it down while they're going through there. Okay, let's move on so we don't waste too much time here. Let's move on into our next part, which is the map. Our good old fun little map up there in the top right-hand corner. This is being a third-person view game, and you're having to look what's right in front of you and what's having to turn around and look behind you several times. Do you find yourself looking at the map very much? And if so, what annoyances have you found?
I usually only use the ward or the map for when I look at across the, I guess, in your third person view, and I see and you see people from across the map and you can't really tell where they are. I mainly use the map to see if they are in the next lane over or if they're 2 lanes over, which is really annoying that you should have to do that in the first place. But I don't really use the minimap that much. You can see ganks coming for you pretty well through next to your lane, so I don't find the minimap as needing that much unless you have, say, Arachne eggs down or you have the ward down. I don't think the minimap's that helpful, other than making you get around faster, of course, and helping keep timers on buffs.
Okay, well, what about, let's go to our actual map itself. It is a 3-lane map, as we're used to, but we don't have bushes you can hide in. They've got the extra outside exterior lanes. I guess you can almost call it a 5-lane map when you look at it that way. And there is no river in the middle. Do you actually like this new design of the game where it has like this? It has our 3 different buffs on the outside. and like 3 or 4 more buffs on the inside on both sides of the map, or?
The one thing I don't like about the map, the biggest thing is it seems like it's so easy to get out of bad situations, and there's so many ways you can get through the jungle and get out of a bad situation pretty much. I've myself have been in a lot of bad situations at times, and I've escaped just because there's so many different paths I could take. I think the jungle is too open compared to the rest of the game. I don't know. That's just my opinion. And as for like with the whole map thing, I do like the map the way it's set up, I guess, except for that the jungle's has all the ways and the paths you can take to escape. But it is nice to see when someone is coming to gank you, or when you're pushing a lane. It is also really nice because like you can see the lanes over if you have vision, and I don't know. That's about the best thing about it. And in my opinion, it probably needs to be redesigned too graphically.
We kind of lose without the river being there. We lose that kind of mobility in the middle, I guess you can say, of quickly going down there and then cutting into parts of it. So where you're talking about being able to quickly jump in between and go take this path and juke them left or juke them right. They don't know which direction you go. I think part of the not having the river there kind of causes that. It's not having that big open pathway in the middle that you can use to kind of go around.
Yeah,
I really love that.
You're a fan, Sockless, of it? With no
You
river?
can literally get like lost in the river or lost in the jungle. There's no just clear path to cut down and do what you want to do. And as a Bastet player, pretty much you can't touch me in the jungle. I can just jump through any wall and get away.
All right. So have any of you been playing jungling? Have any of you been jungling much or trying to jungle?
I haven't really since beta, but in alpha I used to jungle Arachne a lot.
All right. So what about the camps here? We got our different camps. Are different. Each of them have their own little buff. Like them, hate them, change them, moving closer, moving further apart. What do you think?
I like it because right now, as how it stands, you go in the jungle. Each of them is a big minion, or however you want to call it, like LOL terms. They're the big monsters, the big camps that you fight, or at least medium sized. But you kill those, and they don't respawn for a while, which is geared towards allowing you to go gank in between those and making it a more gank-heavy game instead of just being farm your jungle over and over if you can't get off a gank. It turns into more you have to gank to be effective as a jungler, since those buffs won't be up on a full walkthrough or full run.
I have to agree with you there. I mean, I don't find it. I hate the term jungle for this game almost, being a jungler, because I don't think you can stay in the jungle as often. It's not like I come in and I wait till level 5 to come gank somebody. I finally get my ultimate. Now I'm going to go perform a gank, and then I'm going to enter the jungle and disappear for another 5 minutes. I don't think this game works that way. I think it works
Pretty
more
much.
of pushing stuff. What is that?
Yeah, like pretty much what I've seen. I've played with some junglers, and pretty much all they can do right now is they can go get their buffs, and then you got a lane. Like that's it. Like there really is no jungling in this game right now, in my opinion. It's kind of worthless at the moment. It's better just to go get the green buff, the yellow buff, and maybe the attack and magic buff, and then go back to lane and push. That's it.
I kind of like that though.
Yeah. I wish they would just refer to it as kind of like a roamer, because I don't like the term jungler either. You're just kind of roaming, picking up some buffs, seeing if you can make something happen, and then you pretty much have to go back to lane to start getting some more XP and gold.
Exactly.
Well, we've heard it here.
I don't think you necessarily need to go to lane to get this gold. You just need to make sure you're ganking a lot and take up your time with those ganks and make sure you're taking all the buffs, of course. But if you gank a lot, say after every buff or so, you should be fine with the respawn timers. It is more of a roamer than conventional jungles, but it's not as much of a roamer because you're also grabbing the buffs. So it's kind of a mix between roamer and jungler.
Yeah, I mean, I like the term roamer as well over jungler, just because you're roaming in and out of the jungle and lane a lot more than the idea of the jungler would, in my opinion.
That's pretty much what it is right now, just a roamer.
Yeah. So I don't know. So we got that. What about our fire giant? Do you see him playing as big of a role as the what is it? Wow, I can't even think of it. Who is it in League of Legends again?
Baron Nashor and I forget what it
and
is.
the dragon, and the other one, and also the dragon in League of Legends as well. Do you find those two mobs playing as big of a deal in Smite?
I haven't really seen anyone go for dragon in any of the games I have. I mean, we've done it a couple times with guys I've queued with, but it's really not making a difference currently. The fire giant has won us some games, so it's nice, but in my opinion, it's still too easy. They need to buff him. I mean, there's level 11 Arachne soloing him, so.
I don't think for the dragon, whatever it is, the Fury in this game, I don't think it's a big of an issue as it doesn't affect the game much. It's just I think no one's really gotten together and said, we need to go take this. And most of the games I've seen, no one really rallies to the buff. I don't think we find it as important or seem to find it as important, but 300 gold for your team globally is a 1,500 gold over your enemies right there. It's a pretty big advantage. I just don't think anyone's going for it.
Yeah, I think the game's just being played too fast right now with really no true meta set in stone. It's hard to see how it's going to play out because right now you don't have true supports in the game other than Hell, in my opinion. Like, she's, pretty much the best support with Raw right there, and like there's other characters you can play as support, but they're not true supports. And so, I mean, wards aren't being really used, and I mean, the buffs are being somewhat used, but
yeah,
I agree with that 1,500 gold advantage.
We're kind of limited
really
on
nice.
Our supports, aren't we?
Yeah,
I mean, we have Raw and Hell more so than Raw, because Raw, I'd say, more of a pusher than anything.
Exactly.
So that is kind of sad. We'll get to the gods here in a moment, but the Phoenixes and the Minotaur. Do we have issues? The Phoenix respawns, but not with full health, and has to regain its health. Easy to take it down, and the Minotaur doesn't regenerate health at all. What do you think? I mean, let's start with the Phoenixes. Are the Phoenixes an issue in the game? Do they need to be changed at all?
I think they're hard for a mage. Like, if mid gets pushed up early, for a mage to take that by himself, which may be more of a get your team over here in a team play aspect, but as a mage, you're going to have a lot of problems unless you're just sitting there clearing the waves, and that's going to take some time to get a Phoenix down early game at least.
All right, so
like earlier than usual.
Because I guess it's because a mage's auto attack or whatever doesn't deal much of anything. I'd say Raw is the only one that can possibly do that out of the mages, because he can heal his things while defeating any of the incoming wave.
I was in a game last night where they actually had 2 DCs, so we were trying to end the game early just because nobody was having fun. We weren't having fun, they weren't having fun. And we were trying to take that Phoenix. My duo lane was, and it just, the minions spawn, clear ours out, the Phoenix help clears them out, and it's just really hard to take until you get those items to really chunk it out.
What if we move the minions? The minions spawn right behind the Phoenix right now. What if we move it so the minions spawn inside the right where you respawn? Of course, then it would take them for even longer to get to you up the lane.
Yeah, and at that point, you might, if you aggro the Minotaur a certain way, or probably have 3 lanes of minions on you. It could probably be bad, but I do not like them spawning directly behind the Phoenix.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. So the Minotaur, then let's look at the Minotaur. Regenerative health. This is the biggest topic regarding the Minotaur in the beta. People having problems with is, should he or should he not regenerate health?
I actually don't think that's the huge problem. I think the problem right now is his health pool or his total health pool. His health pool right now is pretty weak, and if your team decides to just, I guess, rush him, you can easily take him out in one attack of that if you have a decent-sized wave of minions. His total HP pool is pretty low. His damage is really high, but he needs some more health to survive some of those all-in rushes that people will do for him, or things of that caliber, so your team can actually do some damage to the enemy before he dies.
Did you all know that he was actually healable by Hell last week, and he's not this week anymore?
I believe he was never healable. I think it just took the mana out of Hell, but it didn't actually heal him.
Well, last week he was being healed on it last week because they kept re-healing him. Like, it was like 1 day maybe or 2 days that existed, and all of a sudden it was gone. Because
one time I played Hell,
at first.
I wasn't able to do it.
Yeah, so
yeah, because in Alpha, I remember she never used to be able to do that. She used to just take her mana up.
do you think we should be able to have him healed by players?
No.
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 So we're looking at probably not making him regenerate health or anything, but do we have a unanimous agreement on buffing his health?
Well, he could use the HP regen.
Yeah, he
Yeah, I
needs
think the
something.
HP regen wouldn't be a bad idea, to be honest. But if they're not going to do that, I think they need to buff his health. So
I would like to see him based upon how many Phoenixes you come up. Like, if you have all 3 Phoenixes up, I think he should regen health at a pretty steady rate. Because I actually had a game a few days ago where they had pushed down our right lane, did some damage to the Minotaur, got him down to about a 5th health. All 3 of our birds came back up. We were taking their middle Phoenix to end the game, and Wukong walked right in with all 3 Phoenixes up and killed him by himself.
All right.
And I know he does scale based upon how many Phoenixes are up, but I think he should get a health regen.
So if he's scaling based on the, he's already scaling defense wise based on the number of Phoenixes. So what if we scale him on regenning health? If he has 3 Phoenixes, he regens 3 times as fast. 2 Phoenixes 2 times. If he has 1 Phoenix, maybe he regens 1 times, and then no Phoenixes, he doesn't regen at all. I mean, we're going to get complicated code
that
for
wouldn't be a
them.
bad idea.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty good solution to this.
Yeah. That'd probably be the easiest solution to do too,
Yeah, because then
development-wise.
I think it also brings in the aspect of focusing on making sure we take down all 3 Phoenixes. A lot of people like to just take down 1 Phoenix and then rush in to go and attack and stuff. It kind of makes it add in that little functionality of, hey, push all 3 lanes. Don't push just one and then try to win the game.
Yeah.
So
It offers a lot more play on the defending team's side. That's for sure.
all right, so we got the Phoenixes. Talking about, you were talking there, Sockless, a second earlier, about mages having a hard time pushing the Phoenixes and stuff. So let's get into gods. Let's get into our gods where we've got our melee. We have our. I love how we're laughing about this because this is probably the biggest debates that's gonna exist forever on SMITE. No matter what we say, no matter what Hi-Rez changes, someone's not gonna be happy. We're talking about the gods here. So, what do you think is the most unbalanced god right now? Prayer.
Right now, well, there's like multiple ones.
Most unbalanced one.
Odin.
All right. What do you think, Alakite?
It's definitely Artemis. I disagree with the Odin a lot. I don't know how Odin... I mean, Odin's pretty strong, but catch him out of the ring and he is weaker than most other champions.
All right, Sockless.
I'm going to agree 100%. It's definitely Artemis.
I think it is Hades. No, I'd have to say either Arachne or Artemis probably.
Yeah, Artemis is. Yeah, Artemis.
So I don't know, but
I don't know.
Okay, so let's actually get into here. Why do you think it's unbalanced prayer? Since you get to be the odd man out here, Odin. Why Odin?
I mean, pretty much with Odin, you just build him a tank and he's unkillable, and he still does good damage. So, you pop a good ring, you can kill him. You can ace their whole entire team. I mean, it's that simple.
So is it Odin or is it items?
I think it's more Odin.
Okay, and now Kai, you were saying you don't think it's Odin.
No, I don't think it's Odin at all. Well, because of that, really in his ring, he's pretty strong in his ring, but fighting him in his ring is a stupid idea anyways. There's no reason you should be trying to one-on-one him in his ring. You should be trying to run around the edges or leaping out or Aegis or whatever other item you're going to use to try and escape from him. Because right now, if he uses his 3, he loses the passive bonus. He becomes untanky to slow you. His leap is pretty good. The attack speed buff is really good with teammates, but right now he doesn't have that much damage on his own. Honestly, his ring is amazing when coupled with AoE ults, but I don't think that he's that great on his own, and especially when his ult is down, he doesn't have that much power.
Okay.
There's just so many ways you can build him right now, though. I mean, the DPS build that people are doing. I mean, I see people going like 25-0 on him. I mean, that's pretty nasty. And I mean, you see people playing tank with him. You can tank a whole entire team, and you know, with that attack damage buff, it's pretty much GG. I don't know. If you have an Odin in your team, you got a good chance of winning.
Yeah, he can be pretty bad just with his attack speed buff and Quinn's. Like, he can start chunking out damage with just that single item.
Well, okay, so Odin's Odin. We're gonna have to test Odin a bit more. I think maybe release some item builds that people are doing, kind of see what and release numbers with that. I don't know, but let's go into something that a lot of people have talked about, and that is Artemis. What do you think needs to be changed on Artemis to bring her more in line?
Well, of course, the most obvious one is trap time. The fact that right now you can activate it under their feet with no delay time, there's no reason that should even exist in the first place. You can hit them with the trap if they get stuck in it originally, bore them, and then hit them with another trap and chain CC them for over 4 or 5 seconds. Couple that in with her attack speed buff, and she will do insane damage to you. But some of the other things that need to be changed are, of course, the HP per level. She has higher HP per level than most tanks do right now. Her movement speed is stronger than, or faster than melees for whatever reason, and I think that's it for right there. But so a lot of things need to be brought in line.
So should we change her trap to have like a 1.5 second delay before it actually can be activated? Something similar to Caitlyn's trap from League of Legends.
That would not be a bad idea.
Yeah, but I think it should be able. You should be able to chain CC with the Boar, but as long as it takes skill and it's not just a simple set it under the trap whenever you feel like, or set it under their feet as soon as you feel like it. Make it actually take skill to do that, and you have to plan it out better than just click.
I hate that Boar. That Boar's teleporting across the map. Okay, the Boar teleports. I don't have any other way to view it. It's not running across the ground. It's not coming after me and me having a chance to do something to it. It teleports across the map. Heck, today there's an Artemis who got trapped inside of Odin's rings. She spawns the Boar and it hits me on the outside of the rings. Now, I'm not really sure how that makes sense and why Odin got to be free of this Boar. But I don't even know what's going on here. Like, do we know if there's a preference for the Boar? Does it like ranged characters, squishies, bleeding characters? I mean, does it have a love interest for certain characters or something? I don't know.
Man, there's times that Boar seems like it just hits like 20 people, man. It's like, bang, it's like a pinball machine, just bouncing back and forth. It is crazy.
She also suffers a lot too. Artemis does as being the only ranged AD carry, and I don't know if a lot of people figured this out yet, but I've actually been doing a lot of testing with it. She can jungle from level 1 without any abilities and not take a single lick of damage. They're in the jungle camps, there's a urn type thing in the environment. You can leash the big mob alone and the small mobs will reset to that urn, and you can step over the threshold for the leash where it returns to camp. Hit it a couple times, walk back across, and it will sit there and just keep leashing back and forth and never reset health. So she can clear, and once she gets the attack speed buff, she can just start clearing out the jungle that way and never get touched and doesn't need Hand of the Gods. And I don't know if a lot of people figured that out yet, but now they know.
All right, so
Yeah, the leashing is really easy in this game. I mean, you can pretty much get away with not ever getting hit when you leash in the jungle.
do we all say Artemis is pretty much OP right now, in some way or
Yeah.
form?
And it
Of
might be
course.
just that she's the only ranged AD carry. Like, if we see another one and they're
So,
the same way.
range AD carries. Okay, so let's make them stronger. No, okay.
Man, it's
I
a
mean, Joe, I
guaranteed
think
kill.
that was a similar problem because she's the only true healer right now.
All right. What about Arachne? Little bit unlockable Arachne here. Come in and pull you into her web, into a pile of spiders, and sucks your blood out. What do y'all think?
I don't think she's OP'd like other people have been saying lately. I don't think she's that strong. She really does have to compensate hugely in the damage department for that ultimate, and it is on a 30-second cooldown. Like in League of Legends and Dota with Pudge and Blitzcrank, if you miss that ultimate, you pretty much get flamed for it, and it becomes the worst feeling ult in the world. But when you land that ult, it also becomes the best feeling ever. So it really is a risk-reward, or it's a huge risk-reward ultimate. And I feel like she also does get gimped in her kit for it. She only has one damaging ability compared to some of the other characters that have 2 or 3. she does have a bit more utility. Her spiderlings, I guess you could count as damage, but unless you're pulling people into that, it's very unreliable in team fights. They'll jump around to whoever. So really in lane, she's really strong, but in team fights, she falls short a lot, or really short compared to other characters.
What about her and Sobek's ult? Her ult and Sobek's grab, both of them go through minions. Do we allow that to? I mean, is that a okay thing that we can just avoid minions from now on to be able to fly through it, grab somebody, and Sobek throws them back, or Arachne just shoots through, grabs them, and pulls them all to her? No minions have to worry about. There's nothing to worry about there. Is that okay, or do we think we should be blocked by minions? Just like you said it yourself, Blitzcrank's ability to throw and grab. He hits a minion, he pulls the minion, not the person. So
yeah, it should be the exact same way in this game. The creep should not, or the creep should stop it, and, you know, I don't know. I think it's a bad mechanic right now. They need to change it.
Okay.
I disagree with that. I think right now, because Blitzcrank right now I think has a half the cooldown Arachne's ult does. So Arachne's ult is an ultimate, and of course it's going to be stronger. I think they could instead just up the cooldown by 5-10 seconds, so it's not just grab at any opportunity and hope to hit someone. It has to be more of a tactical, you use this, you're going to be in more pain, and you're going to be able to use it for quite a while. But I honestly think it should go through minions, because right now, just how the third-person mobile works, I think it should go through minions.
All right.
I don't have a problem with going through minions either. I think it's a different game. In League of Legends, you have that kind of top-down, 45-degree angle play, and you can kind of get around minions and hit it. And in this game, too, it's really easy to just literally straight through minions.
Same for Sobek's as well, though? Do you think Sobek should also go through minions? His is a regular ability. It's not even an ult. It's got a short cooldown, and it does damage as well.
I lane almost every game with a Sobek, like very on. Me and him play pretty much exclusively duo queue, and he pretty much plays Sobek every game. And I see it get dodged a lot by just simply sidestepping. Like if you see Sobek take a step towards you, you can assume that he is going to do that to initiate on you. Just sidestep it.
All right. What do y'all think? Prayer? Alakite?
I like the ability the way it is. I think it's, I don't know. I think it fits his style more, but then again, I'd be kind of contradicting myself, because if I say that Arachne can't do it, then he shouldn't be able to do it, so it is what it is, I guess. We'll see.
All right, so I mean, we're looking at gods. Are there any other gods that we need to talk about? Are there any other gods having issues right now? Maybe weak gods. Are there any ones that are really weak?
Kwong, is that how you say it? The dragon?
Al Kang, or whatever. He's weak.
I feel so. He brings a lot of damage, especially come later in the game, but people have to be really dumb to stand in a lot of it. It's really hard to hit a lot of his abilities and get people to just pretty much stand in it, unless you have like Odin or a champ that can provide that CC for him. I don't feel like he doesn't really have any hard CC or anything that's really amazing.
Yeah, I think I've won one game with a Aokong on my team. Just saying.
Okay,
I think...
Go ahead.
No. Go on.
No, you're good. Go. I don't have anything to say.
Well, I was just going to change a bit topics here, but I think Hades needs some work done to him, because right now the focus of his kit is his ultimate, and when you're playing as Hades, if you go into a fight without your ultimate, even just a 2-on, or like a, say, 2-man fight, you feel weak and pretty much useless other than, say, your fear and the tiny little heal you give out. He really is weak without his ultimate. Without his ultimate, he is just this, hopefully stand in front of them, fear them as often as you can, and do that. In team fights, of course, though, we have him against people, and he just pulls an entire team that if they don't buy items, and he can chain CC or chain ultimate with other AoE ults such as Zeus's or Odin's, and so he appears very strong. But I think he really does need a bit of a buff to the rest of his kit. Seeing if you buy Purification Bees, which are of course only 500 in the store, you can basically avoid Hades ult for the entire rest of the game.
I don't know. I mean, I think the problem with Hades right now is we're playing in pug matches. you don't have enough team fight going on here and there, or coordination of, hey, I'm going to go in and use my fear, get ready for this. I don't think we're getting to see that enough, and there's no communication for people to do because you can only queue with 2 people. And if you you can try to countdown queue with a group of people and hopefully get on the same team. But I think that's part of his problem weakness. But maybe he does need to change one of his attacks. I know some people have suggested make Hades summon the dead minions to fight for you. I mean, I feel like that add us another character like Bastet with her things chasing you, but
Yeah.
so any other weak ones, or we think we need to test more probably to figure out anything else about him at this point. Maybe new item
I just want
builds.
to echo Hades again. I was really looking forward to Hades. That was going to be my champ, and he's more of a utility mage, so you can't really fault him for it because his ult is really strong if you can coordinate it with other people and they don't buy immunities or if they don't have the step jump or something like that. But I feel they'll have to do something with his ult in order to buff something else that he has because he's just too much utility, that ult and the fear.
Now you all are saying that he's weak at this time, kind of weak. Some of the forums though have a threads going saying that his ult is too powerful, and some of you have mentioned it. 500 gold for a purification beads is all it takes to be able to escape.
500 and he's counter the rest of the game.
Yeah, 500 gold and his ult. Oh, okay. I'll just throw this out and go ahead and run. I mean, so. Is that a viable solution though? I mean, it's cheap, it's easy to buy, sure, but do we want it to be a game going every single time you go into a game? Oh, they have a Hades purification beads.
Other games have that, like in League of Legends. If they have a Karthus, like you know that you're probably like if you're an AD carry, you have to buy a Hex Drinker because that will more than likely save your life every time. So there are champions like that in other MOBAs, but. Half the champs, or half the gods, right now don't even need that because Bastet can jump, Odin can jump, Vamana can dash out, Agni can dash out if they have it off cooldown.
Okay. So not every god is needing it at this time.
No.
Alright. So let's not waste too much more time here. We've got a lot of testing we still need to do, obviously. We've been here. If you count the fact that they opened up the servers an extra day early, it's been a week since testing basically started. We are now, Hi-Rez has left the servers up most of the time with the notice that if they are going into maintenance mode, that it might be a long maintenance period when it does go down. So that's at least giving us plenty of more time, more than those 2 hours or those 2 to 4 hours a day we thought we were going to have, which I really like. So let's just bring closer to a close. Favorite or least favorite thing, favorite and least favorite thing about the current SMITE beta. Let's start with Prayer.
I don't know. I'm having a lot of fun with it. You know, I get a lot of viewers and stuff that hang out, and from what I've seen is, you know, most people are saying it's a fun game. It's easy to get into and start playing right away and notice it, which is also, I think, going to help the game progress as a whole, because people that do play competitively want the esport. You know, they want to play in tournaments. They want to try to win that money and get their name out there and get a name for themselves for their own stream or their own websites or whatever. And right now I just think the game's really easily accessible and it's nice to get into and just start playing. It's fun and it appeals to a lot more crowds than just a general MOBA like League or Dota. It appeals to the MOBA crowd as well as the MMO crowd. You know, for people who played WoW arenas competitively like I have, it's good to, you know, it's easy to get into the game and still have that feeling. And yeah, I mean, it's just 30, 40-minute games and that's it. You don't have to level to 85 or 90 to be competitive.
Okay. What about you, Alakite?
Well, I just like the whole, first of all, that it's third person. It's much more entertaining. It's more action, less waiting in lanes, farming for 15 minutes, hoping to get a few more CS than the other guy in your lane. But, I was going to capitalize. I think it adds a lot more, I guess, routes for this game to go when a meta starts forming. I like how they have the side lanes, how they have the buff on left and right that you can fight over. I like how they have a lot of different things in the jungle that are more worth fighting over. I think it's going to add a lot more depth to the game. A thing I don't like about how Prayer was saying, how it appeals to both parties, it's going to be a problem when the hardcore MOBA players, or when the game opens and we have the more hardcore MOBA players being mixed in with the casual gamers, causing rage and the other bad community things that MOBAs always have. I think that's going to be a big problem when that starts and this game becomes, I guess, open.
What about you,
But
Socrates?
it'll help the game grow faster, though. So I mean, you want the game to get bigger, and
Yeah, I think we all want it to grow. Just worried about the community aspect of that. But Socrates, favorite thing and least favorite.
My favorite thing so far has been the pacing. I absolutely love the pacing in this MOBA, unlike other ones where you go to lane and you start farming for 20, 25 minutes, potentially sometimes. It's almost immediately like this pressure's on to see who can initiate, see who can get that first kill, see who can roam middle and help get a kill. It's right into the action almost immediately, and there's not that slow ramp-up time of farming, getting a few items before you really want to initiate a fight quite yet. At least that's how the community is playing it right now. And the least favorite is the chat system. For me, it just kills it, especially if you're not in the game and you're trying to talk to other people. You have a 5-second window for that little bar to pop up at the bottom of your screen, try to see what it says.
Oh, like not having like
It's
a
like having- the
controllable
chat system is awful.
a controllable chat outside the game and stuff, where you can private message people and talk to them or whatever. Yeah, okay.
It is bad.
I'd say my favorite thing so far has to be all skill shots. I can't say enough. It makes me love the game even more. I don't care about this click on person, click ability, and then sit back and relax and watch it go. It drives me nuts. I like the idea of the skill shots. And my least favorite thing has got to be, I guess you can call it position lag or skill input lag. Input-output lag, I guess would be a better term for it. I'm noticing a lot is that if I use a skill, but the server recognizes my enemy using their skill first, it'll cancel mine altogether. And it's driving me nuts times. Like, I just used a skill. Why didn't it just use? Even if it wouldn't have saved me, it still would have dealt some kind of damage or done something to the enemy. And I seem to be losing out a lot on which one the server is seeing first, and it ignores the next one. It ignores the one from you, it seems. I'm not really sure how it's coded, how it's designed, but that's really been bugging me a lot in the game recently. Maybe it's just my failure to be a faster. Maybe they're more Twitch skill, and I need to get better at being clicking. I don't know. So that brings about here end to this. So let's go around, and it is your all's time to sell yourself. So Prayer, sell yourself. Where can we find you?
Twitch.tv/VGZillix. I stream every day, as some people in here already know. And I have a Twitter. It's just Prayer TE. It'll probably change a million times, but yeah, that's where you can find me.
All right, Alakite.
I stream at livestream.com/dslayer. I'll probably be getting a new stream website or going to one of the others soon. I want to be in...
You say you use Livestream?
Oh, yeah?
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. But anyways, yeah, I'd like to be involved in any community projects if you guys or anyone wants to do stuff. But yeah.
All right, and Sockless, where can we find you?
I do have a streaming account set up at twitch.tv/tilt_Sockless, but I'm not quite using it yet. I'm mostly doing videos over on YouTube at youtube.com/users/tiltsockless. No space there.
And
or
you
underscore.
And you just say Team Tilt is working on a website right now?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be in conjunction with them in some way, but like I've said a couple times, I'm actually a developer outside of the game and a web developer, and I'm doing it at SMITEDB.com, and it's going to be launching on Monday. It'll have everything from God builders, you select your items, what talent you put where, do a write-up, all that. All of the God information, even I think I've dug up about 15 unreleased gods so far that are in the game files, all the skins, all that will be on there come Monday.
So SMITEDB.com. Got to look at that. Hey, remember that. Thank you. You all can find me, as you can see right here, at JKKennedy26. I get to cheat and get to have my own little thing to pop up there. Or you can find me at my site, justingaming.com. A lot of you are already at it. At the top of that page, it has my YouTube, Aquelis Gaming. It has my Twitter, JKKennedy26. It has my Twitch, has my Tumblr, has my Raptor, has whatever else you want to find on there. So it's got all that on it. Thank you for those of you who joined us this week. This is going to try to be a weekly thing. We're going to have a weekly show here for the Pantheon Panel. It's not always going to be the same guest host. I'm going to try to bring on different community members. Over time, I may find somebody to be a regular co-host with me, but I would like to try to maintain it with you all as a community joining on here. So there is a sticky thread on the general SMITE section of the forums, of the Hi-Rez forums. Go there. You can find out all the information about the show. You can find out how to apply to be a part of it. Just submit it. All you do is probably message me with some very simple information. But it's hopefully going to be an exciting thing. We will talk about the beta each week. If we have patch notes, which it sounds like from looking from chat is Hi-Rez Travis has just told us that there will be a patch incoming. So that looks exciting. So that means next week we'll be able to talk about what changed in that patch and what effect did it have on the game. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Prayer. Thank you, Alakite, and thank you, Sockless, for joining me today. You all have been very good.
For having us on here.
Sockless, you have a monkey. Let me see that monkey. Pull him back up. There we go.
It's the sock monkey. He's
So
on
pretty.
What do you?
Monkey.
Is this? Are you got yourself a little Wukong with you?
He has a sock fetish.
Oh, is that from Ape Escape? Oh my gosh.
All right. So thank you all for joining us. Let's bring this show to a wrap. And SMITE community, if the servers are still up, we'll see you in game soon, I'm sure.